many stones are around it. Yeah, that's.
We are at Saqsaywaman with Jimmy Church. And Jimmy, this is your first visit to Peru, even though you've interviewed every possible person who's ever been here. What do you think?
When you see it in photographs and video, and you interview one researcher after another, and something builds up in your head, and then you get here, and it's not even close to the wildest thoughts that you ever had. It's that amazing. Let me show you this right here. This stone right here, which is one of thousands on this wall. But look at the complexity of what's going on here. How many corners and edges are involved? Okay, but every stone around it also had to be cut. It's not just this. And this is repeated thousands of times to your right and to your left. It's incredible. Over here, Brian, this little notch represents how complex everything is here. Because right above it, you're looking at 100-ton stone that the width of it is cut specifically to match that notch, which next to it, you have a 70-ton stone that has to fit into this notch. Underneath it, you have a stone here that weighs 80 tons that is extending into the ground another 3, 4, 5 feet. That has to fit. And this continues like this with 10,000 stones in each direction. And you just have to ask yourself how. And the answer to that is it must have been really easy, because our modern mind and technology, when we look at this, we see something that is absolutely, completely impossible. If you went to a granite quarry, some master stone builder today, and said, hey, I need to build this wall, and I need it done like this, they would tell you that they couldn't do it. And they would also say why. And the expense involved. It's just an impossible thing to undertake. Why would you want to do that? And here it is. So we have to ask ourselves, what is it that the ancients knew? How did they pull this off? They did it first off because it was easy, but what was the technique and how did they get it done? I do see something. It feels like when we all used to play with clay when we were kids, and you'd have a bunch of round clay balls, and then you would mold it into one big clay ball, and you knew you could do that. This feels like something like that, almost like marshmallows or expansion. When you bake a bunch of biscuits in a pan, right? And you've got a bunch of biscuits in the pan, and then when you pull it out of the oven, they're all touching each other perfectly without any gaps in the middle. That kind of reminds me of what's going on here. Could it be an immense amount of heat where these stones were roughly cut, heat comes in, and then they are form-fitted with a process, which again would demonstrate a huge industrial process of heat. Thousands of degrees for thousands of feet in each direction. How did they do it? I don't know. But it's here in front of us, and we know it got done. It's incredible.